In the past, people have just looked at the relationship with regulators as a relationship with respect to filings and or somebody that you deal with when you have a problem. Now, at some point, every corporation will have a problem, every multinational corporation at least, and domestic ones as well. And it's better to have a positive, ongoing, cooperative relationship with the regulator prior to having that problem than be sitting across from them for the first time when you do have the problem. You have to make the investment now. Compliance is a value add, it's not an expense. And I think a lot of people get that nowadays, or at least beginning to understand that, but there's still sort of a long road to go. When you make the investment up front, and certainly, your Fortune 500 companies have more resources at their disposal to be able to make that investment, but that doesn't mean that a smaller company can't as well. And I mean, there are enough instances out there to show that when you've made the investment, you've put the policies in place, you have the compliance framework, you've reached out and you have ongoing dialogue with your regulators. It will save you in the end. Compliance is no longer something that's optional. It's a requirement, and you better do it up front. Otherwise, you're sort of, rolling the dice with respect to what the penalties will be later on. I don't think anybody's immune, and I think it would be problematic for a corporation to think about, okay, well, I'm in an industry that the spotlight is not focused on. I mean, certainly you can look and see that pharmaceuticals, medical devices, there seems to be increased, interest there. However, I think every industry needs to pay attention to compliance and needs to be aware that if they don't make the investment, that they could be sitting across the table from a very unhappy regulator in the not too distant future. In the compliance area, I think that you need to be focused on the enforcement, the more aggressive enforcement that's going on, obviously in the U.S. and the U.K. And you need to take a step back and do a risk assessment in the compliance area and see if what you have in place is enough. I would venture to guess in many corporations it's not enough. So I think this is a period of self-reflection. It's a period also of looking at your capacity internally in the compliance and regulatory area.